Hello and welcome back to my continued look at the new 53D series from QNAP. This is me utilising the TS653D, but I will say that pretty much everything I'm going to talk about in today's video about photography can be utilised on the 253D, 453D and 653D, as well as pretty much any QNAP NAS, although some of the applications will run a little better on an Intel-based NAS, and that's pretty much what I'm using today. Also, full disclosure, I am using an 8GB model for this. Now, this won't make a huge amount of difference to the services that you might be utilising for photography, but I'm using the 8GB model simply because this NAS is being utilised for a whole host of different service videos about how to make the most of your investment in a QNAP NAS. So although I am using an 8GB model, you may be utilising one with a little bit less memory. It'll still run all of the services, and pretty much anything I'm going to show you today can be used with a NAS with between 1 and 2 gig of memory on DDR3 or DDR4, but I just thought I'd be straight up front about that. Also, I am using OBS here recording in the background for today's video, so that might impact on some of the graphics and the refresh there on screen. Not a lot I can do about that, but again, you are watching a screen recording bit of software there, so there might be the odd bit of buffering. So let's get straight into it, shall we? If you are buying a NAS for photography, you're probably doing it for one of three reasons. One, you've got all of the photos that your family have, all of the pictures of your kids and your wedding day and stuff like that, and you just want to keep them safe, and I get that. And you want to be able to view them in one place as well as share them around the home. Second reason, you might be a photographer and you're looking for somewhere to add as another layer to your backup strategy, and you're looking to bolt on somewhere where your photos will live, not just on your MacBook while you're on the go, but also somewhere on a NAS that you can utilize. The third user may be someone that wants to catalog their photos. They want to go through, they want to file through them and retrieve photos. And a network attached storage device is often utilized by photographers as a means of storing quite literally thousands of photos at any given time and retrieving one or more photos as quickly as possible. So today's video is going to feature a number of apps, and I'll also mention a few little extra tidbits along the way that you might want to take advantage of. The first one, and the older tool I want to talk about today, is PhotoStation. Now, PhotoStation, like any app, is available in the App Center to download, and it's very easy to find. It's in the recommended QTS Essentials apps, or you can find it just by going through the search options at the top, and it's available right there. You can boot it from here in the App Center window, or you can boot it directly from the list of apps once you've installed it. PhotoStation is kind of the standard photo tool. It gives you a lot of analytical data in the background. It has two ways to look at it. And it's also worth highlighting that there are lots of ways in which you can index your NAS. And do stay towards the end of this video, because at the end of this video, in the last stage of it at least, I will show you the perfect way to index all the photos on your NAS. So once you open PhotoStation for the first time, it will search the default photo directory on your NAS. When you first set it up for the very first time, you would have, when creating all of your shared folders, and a lot of the stuff is done by default, there is albums that are created for multimedia. There's other ones for areas where there'll be photos and more, but you can also attach and synchronize different areas of storage if you so choose. This may get a bit technical, and I recommend that you checked out the previous video to this where I talked about mounting storage, but you can connect cloud services such as Google Drive, DropBox, One.com, and larger, more photo-centric cloud storage, and add those using hybrid mount to your NAS. And by doing that and activating that local caching, these directories can then be searched through via the NAS via this one access point. So as well as the directories and maybe decade or two of photos that you upload onto the NAS, you've also got the means to bolt on USB storage and remote accessing storage such as other NASs, other servers and cloud services, and add those all for access within the NAS. If you want to upload photos onto a NAS, it's incredibly straightforward. You can do it either by means of dragging and dropping files directly into the NAS, such as here. I could drag and drop this photo here directly into the NAS, and it will add that photo over the network straight away. Alternatively, you can add files and folders on the NAS as a local folder on your system very, very easily, such as you can see here, where I've created a mapped network drive on my local computer that is here on the NAS, the test share, and that's incredibly straightforward. Just use QFinder, right click, map network drive. You would have had to add the local details first, the admin and password, find the folder, and you can see all of those folders there. Find the folder, click map network drive, select a letter, and then click finish, and that will add that folder. I go into a lot more detail on that process in my second video about adding shared storage, but that once you've added all of that storage area, this is where PhotoStation comes in. Because PhotoStation, to begin with, will just browse all of the photos in the directories you've given it access to. But if you want a more analytical and far more bespoke and controllable environment, select the Management tab. This will allow you to browse through photos by year, by map, by individual tags, by playlists, and more. You can browse just on a simple file folder level here, and it will go through all the different folders on your NAS, and then you can browse the albums. I've only chucked 5 on for this video, but you can go in and browse the files and folders quite easily like so, and look at each of the photos. Now, when you look at a photo, let's find a photo here of something Christmassy, such as this one. You can select the file and photo, and there's a lot you can do with it within PhotoStation. If you're using 3D glasses or using Google Cardboard, you can go and look at this photo in 3D. And again, you have to make sure you have 3D appliances readily accessible in order to look at it. There's different kinds of 3D, and you can cycle through the different options. Next, if you, in conjunction with the next app that we're going to talk about soon, known as QNAP, you can take advantage of people and tags, and that's where people recognition will be enabled. And if there are people in these photos, they will then be categorized with photo recognition, and it will identify there are people recognized in those images. Look at this immature bumpkiff there. You can download photos easily, or create the ability to share via third-party platforms, or to email a share link to another user. You can even just create a copy-paste link to a photo if you choose, and you can create validity periods so it can be inaccessible after a period of time, as well as create a password or add an extra layer of security if you've already enabled an SSL certificate on your NAS. There's lots of things you can do, as well as sharing it with other connected users to your NAS and those social network platforms. You can create slideshows of all of the photos very easily, and even add music and more. If you have connected network devices such as smart TVs, Amazon Fire Sticks and Chromecast and more, if they're on the network environment, they'll appear here, and you can just cast the photo to those directories. Now, one interesting area is the Information tab. Now, it doesn't just tell you about the weight of the file, that is to say, how big it is, in this case 7 megs, or even the resolution, which is quite useful, but you can go really deep. You can find out a lot more about what was the camera that was utilized to take the picture. You can find out a lot more about the aperture. You can find out a lot more about the ISO rating. There's even more information with the more complex camera that you take the photo with. And that's thanks to a lot of stuff happening in the background with metadata. Now, those are lots of the easy options that you can take advantage of within any kind of photo. You can add tags, change it as the wallpaper for your NAS, and do more. And that's just one simple photo there. If we come out of it, we can look at other photo tools, because as good as PhotoStation is, it pales in comparison to the now just over a year old AI-powered photo recognition tool, QNAP. Now, QNAP is included in the cost of your NAS. You don't pay anything extra. And with this tool, it will browse through the preset folders that you choose on your NAS and will apply AI logic to them. So, on the face of it, there probably doesn't seem to be a lot of difference between QNAP and PhotoStation. Let's go for a photo here. Let's try and find that same photo we had earlier. Now, there's a lot of photos here to browse through. We could just go through on the Folders tab, find the multimedia, go into Photos, go into Christmas, and find that photo we took in amongst all of these pictures. Now, that could take quite a long time. The reason being that we're trying to find a needle in a haystack. We're trying to find a picture that we liked before, and we're trying to get back, and we're browsing through, and then finally, eventually, we will find this picture. But this album has hundreds of pictures inside, and we have to find it, and there we finally find the photo. And again, we've got information, but nowhere near as much. There's geolocational tagging information, but that's about it. So what else can QMaggie do? Well, the real magic is in this tab, Albums. Thanks to this tab and its AI powering, it allows you to go through, for a start, photo recognition. So it has scanned all of those photos and it has recognized these people. As you can see, in some cases, it's recognized there's me in, say, one picture. So say this picture, I'll say that's me. And now, every time a photo is uploaded where it looks like this character here, it will automatically tag them as me. Now, sometimes I'll be looking slightly different. Maybe I'll be wearing idiotic sunglasses, like this picture of me. In that case, I'll click Robbie and now it will merge those photos. And the same thing goes. Different light sources, different haircuts and more will result in different sets of photos. And you can then merge these photos together quite easily. Maybe you're wearing a hat, maybe you're wearing a Halloween costume, who knows? But one way or another, you might have an issue where getting people linked together may take longer. Now, say for example, you want to tag multiple people. Like that, add a new person. It will add them as they go along, and as you click a person's face, it will then show that person in all the photos they're in. You can then merge all of these groups one by one to make sure the system learns going forward to combine all of those people together. More so, once you combine these different people, you can then search for groups of people, adding them together, such as Robbie and Gerard, and any photo where they're in together will then come up. It's a much faster way to browse through your photos. But if you're a photographer, chances are you're going to be concentrating on more than just faces. Maybe you want to look at subjects. And that is where QMaggie, in my opinion, is even more useful, as it will allow you to browse through and tag and compile and index your photos about subjects or things. So, case in point, these photos we're looking at here, none of them are called juice, cocktail, vegetable, hamburger, alcohol. All of these photos are called disastrous names. They're all like image 36972, etc. But the AI scanning happening there in the background is now scanning all of these photos. So as you can see, this selection of photos here is animals. It's identified that there are animals in these pictures, and it has tagged them accordingly. And now all of those are sequenced. So if we were to search for certain subjects, say if we search for the word cat, so if we do a nice easy search, and we search for the word cat, click search, and it will search our results. But because it hasn't finished indexing now, our results aren't complete. Originally, the indexing was done, but now we're adding side storage utilizing cloud storage areas. Thanks to my Google Drive, the result is that the photos being added are restarting the thumbnail indexing. And we will talk about indexing a little while into this video. So once again, with the search and the tags, it's very easy looking forward to find a lot of things on this NAS once indexing is complete. And as you add more and more pictures, it will then add those subjects accordingly into this. Now, it's not foolproof, and along the way, there will be the odd hiccup. Case in point, this cat here, with half its head inside a box at Christmas, has been classified a reptile. It's not perfect. Very few AI recognition software is 100%. The same way, my cat in this image is being listed as a dog. Again, unsure why. And I speak on behalf of Ron when I say I'm offended. But AI recognition is getting constantly improved. And this isn't just for QNAP, this is with Google's own photo recognition, which for some reason, all of my AI-powered videos have categorized this picture as a dog. And I've never quite understood why. But one of the ways in which QNAP and their photo recognition works is because of intelligent indexing. Now, intelligent indexing is important because having all of your data on the NAS and then telling these apps to search is too big a task. What you want is either certain folders to be indexed or, more appropriately, some folders not to be indexed. And the way to do that is with Multimedia Console. Multimedia Console is the ability to say where all of your different apps scan. So as you can see, it's still indexing and generating there in the background. But if we go to Content Management, it will show all of the multimedia apps that you've got installed on your NAS. So in the case of QMaggie, we can see that there are 2 sources being indexed for all of those photos. So that means the QMaggie with its AI recognition will not search in any other area of the NAS but these. But say we wanted to add a new location. All we have to do is click Edit, and then from there click a new folder. And as soon as we click a folder, it will then add that new folder, such as Test, and add that folder to the list. Click Apply, and there you go. It adds that new folder, and it will add that to the indexing. If you want to remove a folder, just scroll down, untick, click Apply, and it removes it. Now, say you want to make sure some areas of your storage are never featured. You can create rules and exceptions to make sure some areas of storage are never accessed. The system itself will generate general areas such as caching and recycling bins that it will never search, but you can add other exclusion rules if you see fit. And again, there's lots more areas where you can say where you want different apps to search from. For example, you don't really want your photo applications to search video areas because there may be thumbnails, cover art, and more. You don't really want those sequenced. This will allow you to make sure that videos are searched in the video areas and that music is searched in the music area and photos are in the photo areas. Multimedia Console is a single portal access point to make sure that the photos on your NAS are indexed and sequenced effectively. And I will be mentioning Multimedia Console on my videos regarding video, on my YouTube videos about videos and music, but it has to be said that it's still currently one of the best tools out there when it comes to indexing your media. I'll go into a lot more detail about this app during my video about enjoying multimedia video, TV shows and box sets on your NAS, but I'm going to wrap things up. Those are the best ways to interact with photos on the NAS. If you're looking at videos for video editing, I do recommend you check out my 5GBE and 10GBE live editing videos coming very, very soon. Otherwise, click like if you found this video helpful and enjoyed it. Click subscribe to learn more about what you can do with your 53D NAS, and I'll see you next time.